What are some of the most popular accidental inventions? Let's find out and get started with number 5. Bubble wrap. In the heyday of Amazon and e-commerce, we see and touch more bubble wrap than any other time in human history. In 1957, engineers Alfred Fielding and Mark Chavan were attempting to create a textured wallpaper. The pair sealed 2 shower curtains together with the tiny air bubbles trapped inside to create a 3-dimensional pattern. They called their invention textured wallpaper and hoped it would be a hit with consumers. After all, the 50s and 60s was a popular time for different kinds of wallpaper. Why wouldn't people want a 3-dimensional textured wallpaper? Something unique and interesting. However, their invention failed to take off as a popular wallpaper, so the 2 inventors began to explore other potential uses for their product. They eventually discovered that the air bubbles made the material a great cushioning material for fragile objects. This was a huge idea with massive potential. Before the invention and implementation of bubble wrap, the transportation of fragile products was a delicate and risky affair. The lack of proper packaging materials meant that fragile products were often damaged during transit, leading to significant losses for manufacturers and retailers. One of the earliest methods used to transport fragile products was to wrap them in layers of paper or cloth. While this method provided some protection, it wasn't always sufficient to prevent breakage during transit. Another approach was to use straw or hay to cushion the products, but this wasn't always effective and often led to additional weight and bulk, making transport more difficult. As technology advanced, new materials were introduced to improve the protection of fragile products during transport. For example, in the early 20th century, manufacturers began using corrugated cardboard boxes to package and transport their products. While this was an improvement over wooden crates, it still didn't provide enough protection for fragile items. This issue gave Fielding and Chavan the massive opportunity that led to the creation of the new product, which they called bubble wrap. Bubble wrap quickly became a hit with manufacturers who were looking for ways to protect their products during shipping. The cushioning material provided a reliable and cost-effective way to keep fragile items safe during transit. And the bubbles were an added bonus, providing hours of entertainment for those who enjoyed popping them. In 1960, the Sealed Air Corporation was founded to market and sell bubble wrap. The company quickly became successful, and bubble wrap became a household name. Over the years, Sealed Air has continued to innovate and improve its product, developing new variations and customizing it for different industries. Today, bubble wrap is used in a wide variety of industries, from electronics to healthcare. It's estimated that billions of feet of bubble wrap are produced each year, making it one of the most popular and widely used packaging materials in the world. Number 4. Post-its. Post-it notes are one of the most ubiquitous office supplies in the world. The story of the Post-it note begins in 1968 at 3M, a company known for its innovations in adhesive products. Spencer Silver, a chemist at 3M, was working on developing a new type of adhesive. Spencer earned a PhD in organic chemistry from the University of Colorado in 1966. He then joined the 3M Company, a multinational corporation that produces a variety of products, including adhesives, abrasives, and electronic materials. 3M wanted Silver to create a strong adhesive, something like Gorilla Glue, something strong enough to bond metal surfaces together. Unfortunately, Silver couldn't quite get the formula down and ended up inventing something quite different. He created a low-tack adhesive that would stick to surfaces but could also be easily removed without leaving behind any residue. While this ended up being far from the kind of adhesive 3M initially wanted him to create, there was potential in Silver's failed adhesive concoction. Silver was excited about his discovery and thought it could have many applications, but he couldn't find a practical use for it immediately. There were so many possibilities. 4 years later, in 1972, another 3M employee named Art Fry attended a seminar where he was frustrated by his bookmarks falling out of his choir book. As an avid singer, Fry needed a way to mark his pages without damaging the book or having the bookmark fall out. He remembered Silver's adhesive and realized that it could be the perfect solution to his problem. Fry and Silver teamed up and began experimenting with the adhesive. They created small yellow squares and tried them out as bookmarks, but they found that they weren't very successful. They needed a new use for their adhesive. One day, Fry was frustrated by the way he had to write reminders and tasks on scraps of paper that would often get lost or thrown away. He remembered the adhesive squares and tried sticking a piece of paper to his desk with it. It worked perfectly. Fry realized that they could create a product that would stick to surfaces and allow people to write quick notes. But to make their new idea work, they would have to get creative. The team refined the design and created the first Post-it notes, which were released in 1980. Initially, they weren't very popular, but 3M continued to market the product and it eventually took off. In addition to traditional advertising and promotions, 3M also enlisted the help of celebrities and influencers to promote the product. One of the most notable examples of this was the Post-it note wall that was created in New York City's Times Square. The wall was covered in Post-it notes that were arranged to create a mural of singer Diana Ross. The display attracted a lot of attention and helped to create buzz around the product. Number 3. Play-Doh. Play-Doh is a classic children's toy that has been entertaining kids for generations. The soft, colorful clay has become a staple in homes and classrooms around the world. In the early 20th century, Cuttall Products was a Cincinnati-based company that produced cleaning supplies. During the 1930s, the company was struggling to stay afloat, and it needed a new product to help boost sales. One of the company's employees, Joe McVicker, was tasked with finding a solution. McVicker's sister-in-law was a teacher, and she told him that she needed a modeling clay that was safe and easy for young children to use. McVicker saw an opportunity and began experimenting with the different formulas to create a clay that was non-toxic, pliable, and colorful. One of the ingredients that McVicker used was wallpaper cleaner, which was commonly used at the time to clean soot and dirt off wallpaper. The cleaner was made from a mixture of water, flour, salt, and boric acid. McVicker discovered that the cleaner had a unique texture and was perfect for creating a soft and malleable clay. McVicker and his team refined the formula, adding more color and removing the boric acid, which was toxic. They eventually created a product they called Cuttall's Rainbow Modeling Compound, which they began selling to schools. The product was a hit with teachers and children, but it wasn't until a few years later that it really took off. In 1955, the company was approached by Bob Keeshan, who played the character Captain Kangaroo on a popular children's television show. Keeshan wanted to use the modeling compound on his show, but he suggested that they change the name to something catchier, and thus Play-Doh was born. Play-Doh quickly became a household name, and it's remained popular ever since. It's estimated that over 2 billion cans of Play-Doh have been sold since its creation. The toy has inspired countless children to unleash their creativity and imagination, and it has become an iconic symbol of childhood play. Number 2. Botox. The Botox story began way back in the 1820s when a German physician named Justinus Kerner was studying a type of food poisoning called botulism. Kerner discovered that the bacteria responsible for botulism produces a toxin that can cause paralysis. He named the toxin botulinum toxin and noted its potential medical applications in treating muscle spasms and other conditions. Fast forward to the 1940s, when researchers at the University of California, San Francisco were studying the effect of botulinum toxin on lab animals. One of these researchers was Dr. Edward Shantz, who was attempting to purify the toxin for use in biological warfare. However, during his experiments, Shantz discovered that small amounts of the toxin could be used to temporarily paralyze muscles. Years later, in the 1980s, a Canadian ophthalmologist named Dr. Jean Carruthers was using Botox to treat patients with eyelid spasms. She noticed that her patients' wrinkles were also being reduced, leading her to explore Botox's cosmetic applications further. Carruthers and her husband, a dermatologist named Dr. Alistair Carruthers, began conducting clinical trials to study the effects of Botox on wrinkles. While Dr. Shantz was studying botulinum toxin for military purposes, he inadvertently uncovered its potential as a medical treatment. And while Dr. Carruthers was initially using Botox to treat eyelid spasms, she soon discovered its cosmetic benefits. In 1989, Botox was approved by the FDA for the treatment of eyelid spasms, and in 2002, it was approved for cosmetic use. Since then, Botox has become one of the most popular cosmetic treatments in the world, with millions of people receiving injections each year. Today, Botox is used to treat a wide range of medical conditions, including migraines, excessive sweating, and muscle disorders. And while it's most commonly associated with cosmetic procedures, its medical applications continue to be explored and expanded upon. Number 1. Viagra discovered. Viagra, as most people know it, is a medication that helps men, let's call it, during moments that matter the most. It's revolutionized the lives of millions of men worldwide. It's one of the most popular prescriptions in the world, for obvious reasons, with millions of prescriptions filled every year. For the longest time, many scientists and inventors didn't consider ED a medical problem worthy of solving, something that may sound crazy to us today, especially those of us who grew up with those torturous Viagra commercials. In the early 1990s, scientists at Pfizer were working on a treatment for angina, a heart condition characterized by chest pain. The drug's generic name is sildenafil. It was designed to dilate the blood vessels in the heart, which would increase blood flow and reduce the symptoms of angina. However, during the trials, researchers noticed something unexpected and somewhat disappointing. While sildenafil didn't have a significant effect on angina, it did cause a noticeable increase in, we'll say, happiness in the male participants. This side effect was initially considered a nuisance, but the researchers soon realized that it could have a much broader application. After conducting further studies, the researchers discovered that sildenafil was effective at treating ED. The drug was patented in 1996 and approved by the FDA in 1998. Prior to Viagra, the options for men with ED were limited and often ineffective. The drug quickly became one of the most popular prescription medications in the world, with millions of men using it to improve their recreational health and quality of life. Click to watch one of these next videos. Let us know in the comment section what you think is more important for humanity: inventing lab-grown meat or inventing a clean, renewable energy source.